Alright gang, welcome back to the video. It's been a while since we've had a talking video. We've been doing a lot of drifting and I hadn't filmed anything but that. Got two lots of news today, good and bad. Well, the good news is we have picked ourselves up a sponsor. We've signed with a company. I'm not going to release all that until they get get their side of it put out. It's not a major sponsor or anything. It's a smaller company, kind of like us, smaller scale. We're going to kind of work together and try to push, give both of each other a boost. We're going to help them, they're going to help us, and we're going to try to grow together and see what that gains for the both of us. But I will put that in, may end up being later in this video, I don't know yet, but I will put it out as that. If that's the case, that's how it'll, I'll read, put the description or whatever. Well, that's the good news. So maybe some discounts on entry fees at track and some merch, and we're going to do a collab on some merch, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I think it's a win-win for us and those guys, and we've already signed the paperwork. We're just, waiting for them to make the move of making it formal on their end. So that's the good news. Now, for the bad news. Well, the bad news is we're going for a ride in this guy. And you can see I got some light sitting in here. And if I can get my camera down in there, let's just say let me get you in there. Let's just say this old boy has seen better days. I don't know if I can get you in there. I'm trying. I don't think I can get you. And maybe you got a glimpse of it there. But what's in there is a rod poking through. So yes, this motor blew up too. So I don't think I can get you in there at all. I'll have to pull all this stuff off. Yeah, there we go. So, yes, the turbo IS300 blew up again. Second drive, first fourth gear pull, pop. The first time when it first blew up, I wasn't really driving it hard, but I was in fourth gear, just making a little bit of a pull on an incline, so it was on a hill. So it had a little stress. It had to, had to work on making the pull, but it wasn't to the floor or anything. This one, I was driving the car. I don't know. I really don't know. So, yeah, that's the news. That's the bad news. The IS300 is blowing up again. And I don't have a motor. I just traded Art this motor. The non-VVT, I bought him in on that. And so now I don't have a motor that I know is good. And I knew that motor was good, but I didn't expect this motor to blow up. The other one's in the 240. And I have the automatic car out here. So I'm gonna let this car sit, finish the 240, finish the automatic, the temperature sensor and all that, and get it kind of straightened out, and clean the shop, get this mess cleaned up, then worry about this and the 1J car. But yeah, that's the news. We picked up a sponsor and dropped a motor. Yeah, so that's where we're at. All right, here we go. All right, hey guys, so that's the longest break I've took. I've been off 10 days. You can hear I'm still sick. We didn't go drifting. We've not been anywhere. I've not been out of the house but one time to the doctor, and that's like on day 4 or 5. But it's been 10 days since I've been out of the house besides the one day. So I've been sick. That's the biggest span since we started the whole YouTube thing that I hadn't filmed anything. And we're back at it. I'm sweating. I washed my car. It's 80 degrees outside. The compressor is bad, so I can't let the cars down. Excuse me. And so I had a compressor borrowed, and that guy come and got it. So I came to the shop just to kind of mess around today, and I forgot to get my compressor to let the cars down. So I washed my BMW. I got to go collect rent tomorrow, so I'll be on the road tomorrow. But I did pick up a couple of parts. I did drain the oil on the 240. And I think the last thing we had talked about, it may be in this video at the beginning or whatever, but yeah, I blew up the IS300 again. Second drive, 4th gear pull. Yeah, I was driving it. I mean, I was beating on it. And bow, just slung a rod, just boom, straight out the side. No warning, no peck, rattle, clank, 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 led up to nothing. Just a puff of smoke and it's over, and it's just blowing oil everywhere. It happened exactly the same way last time. So I think there's something else going on. There's a mechanical issue. There's something else I'm missing. That's 2 times it's been tuned. First drive on a 4th gear pull, it wasn't a hard pull. And then the second drive, 3rd drive, well, it was the second drive of this time. A good hard pull, 4th gear, bam, there it goes, you know. So it's consistent with the same cylinder, the same gear. I was in a pull in 4th gear both times. So I don't know. So we're just gonna pause on that car. We're just gonna stop where we're at. So we're gonna finish the S14, try to get it off the lift. I don't know that we'll get it tuned and all that. I'm not worried about it right now. Move the IS300, move the S14, and go. Me and my son have talked. We're going all in on the S13 to get it a running, driving 1JZ swapped S13 to put it on the track. That's where we're going. We're not buying any parts for his IS300 right now. Anything and everything we buy will go for the S13 to get it done. That's the only thing we're spending money on. And we'll sit down and get a game plan, and I'll let you in on, you know, where we're at with it, more of what we're missing and what we have to still come up with. But realistically, I mean, we could do that car in a week if we had a few parts of the puzzle and some paint work. That's a whole different ball game too. There was a shooting over at the paint shop. My paint guy that he worked on my son's IS300, but he didn't have time to get to the S13. I guess his daughter was married to a guy, and he shows up shooting everybody or something. My paint guy's girlfriend passed away. He got shot in the head,
and I think his daughter got shot too, and his girlfriend got shot. She didn't survive, and I think the cops shot the guy. So I mean, it's been a mess over there. So yeah, those people got things going on. So we're not even talking to those guys about any of this stuff where they got too much for their own thing. So we're just gonna do the best we can with what we got, and yeah, but we're all in on the S13. We've sat down, we've debated on C6 Corvettes, we've debated on a whole lot of different avenues of trying to get a more powerful, more competitive car on the track and get a leap forward into progression to actually have a stronger, faster, more competitive car. So we've sat down and we're gonna throw all the irons in the one fire. S13's coming out, guns blazing. So that's where we're at with it. I didn't mean to put the guns in the. Anyway, there's a lot going on in this world of mine where I'm close to, and yeah. So that's what's going on. I've been sick. Just hang in there with me. I may shoot a little bit tomorrow while I'm traveling. I've got a lot of driving to do tomorrow. I've got to go to a pile of rentals tomorrow. So 4, 5, 6 collecting tomorrow. eBay stuff I've got to pick up and drop ship it. But I am going to show you a couple things I picked up for the S14. So we'll go ahead and work on that right now. Just show you a few things that I did get and give you an idea of what's left on this. I am going to try to get the S14 off the lift enough to where if I did get a chance to have it tuned, I could. I do want to say that I'm not done with the S14. I don't want to spend a ton more money and time on it, but I'm pretty close to being able to just wrap it up, you know, do some gauges and some other stuff. We'll get into that later. But here's the few things I picked up. So, all right, here we go. So Blocks is a brand that we used to deal with like on Hondas. I did go ahead and order 3 of these for my inventory, for my eBay stuff, and we might possibly use another one of these later. But I did go ahead and get a distribution block for the vacuums for that, the bottom of the intake. As you can see, it's got, so you can plug off the ones you don't want. It comes with a T. You can actually add in that fitting on one end, cap it on the other. That's the only option that it comes with, but you can get another one if you want to send it somewhere else. And it comes with several fittings to, you know, add in, if I can get it to screw in. Anyway, you get the idea. Those actually go thread in. I've got to do one of them. So you can actually make that, you know, those fittings all the way across, have you plenty of vacuums. So it's a vacuum distribution block. If you've never dealt with that, that's what that is. So one major one coming in and allowing you to split your vacuums into other locations. Now, like the ECU Masters, the EMU Black, you don't want to bring your vacuum from your ECU to this block. All right, so if you got the ECU Masters vacuum that comes out of the actual ECU, you want it to still go to the actual intake manifold. You don't want it to go to the vacuum block. Just throwing that out there. And I did pick up a couple of the radium. And so what this will be, it goes into the fuel rail, it threads on, and so that will allow that to go to the fuel line. And so this will actually turn, that will pivot inside there. So that will turn inside there. So you actually tighten it with that Allen head on the back. So you push it in, put it, you know, tighten it up, and this will still continue to swivel wherever you want it to go. So that's going to be the fix to the fuel rail on the back side. So that way we don't have any issues. So I'll hook that up, put it on the rail, and I may go ahead, since I got 2 of them, I may go ahead and do the other side coming off on to the to the regulator, so that way we can control the regulator off of the other side, or the return rather. I'm sorry, the fuel return. So come off the back side to the return. So yeah, we got that block. These options, I'm probably going to use these if they're the right size. This time I did order one and it was the wrong size. And what else did I get? I got something else, but I don't remember what it was. But either way, that's where I'm at with it on those few accessories. The fuel rail, the only thing that I will have then will be to hook up the vacuums. There is a question about the idle air control valve I've got to figure out. There's a thing on the bottom, so I may have to pull the intake manifold back off, as bad as I hate to, and I don't want to. But I may have to. If I do, I do. But I got to figure out that idle air control valve situation. And oh, there's one more thing. I did find the thing for the power steering. So where it stubs out and it looks like it's going right to the throttle body, it actually, they make, I think maybe Chesserenterprises has it where it's a single bolt, and you can take it in or out, and that piece actually swivels. So it 90s, it's got a 90 right there. Instead of it coming straight up, you can now have a 90. And so I can go under that whole fuel rail, or not the fuel rail, but the throttle body and the throttle cable. So if I can confirm that I've got the same power steering pump, then I will be able to get that from Chesserenterprises, and that will remedy my power steering pump issue. And so it'll be down to vacuums, that fuel lines, and I'm not certain on the injectors, but that's the only thing I will have once I get all this goes in. The only thing will be the leaky injectors, and if they don't leak, then we're solid. And I'll have to come up with a throttle cable and finish the gauges and fan switches and stuff on the inside. So I'm just scattered all over the place, but I don't have to really buy anything except for that one little piece, and I think I have everything else. So that will allow us to get the 240 off of the lift. And if I can just do all this and I don't have a fuel leak and all that, I can get this off the lift. But I did drop the oil. I stuck a vacuum with a vacuum hose, like from an actual shop vac, up into the oil areas, and like vacuum, trying to pull out any kind of metal shavings where I drilled and tapped and all that. I'll clean all that. I'll get a magnetic oil plug. I will run a oil change through it. And once we get it cranking and doing all that stuff, before we run it too much, I'll do another oil change. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what's going on with the IS300. I don't know why it blew up. I really don't know. And I'm just gonna take a break from it for a minute. I really am. And I'm gonna try to move forward on these other projects. This 14, because I'm so close. I don't want to pull it off with this close of where I can just put some parts on it and that's all together, and maybe I can have it tuned. And with minimal effort, I hook some gauges up and maybe get a base map. Worst case, I buy an actual name brand set of injectors and just call it a day and get a base map.
I'm feeling high.